Wow. Is it like full of ladies here? Where are the men? Can you raise your hand? Are you forced to come here? So I have to confess something. I'm a troublemaker. At least that's what my dad used to tell me until now. I really don't know why. Maybe because I always start to fight, or maybe because I used to fight with boys a lot when I was a kid, and I used to get punished for that. You really can't blame me. You see, I was raised by a system, a regime called culture. Everyone here is raised by the same system in their countries. When you are born, they decide your name, your gender, your favorite color, which is pink for girls and blue for boys. Why do I have to choose the color pink? Because I'm a girl, and that's how the system works. They decide your life, your education, your career path, and your future partner. But once you are different, once you say, no, I will not do this, get ready for war, for a fight with society. A fight starting with yourself, then of course your parents, then yourself again, and your friends, and your boss, and that's called society. Get ready for that. You either learn how to fight because you're about to live a life of challenges, or quit and follow their system. You see, fighting was not a choice for me. I was born to fight. I even got better with time. God and life hired me to do this job on earth, to impact and save people's lives. You have to find the reason of your existence. Once you find it, you find peace. That's me. And I'm forced to wear pink as well. I'm kidding, I can't even remember. It all started when I was a kid. I was being bullied by boys a lot because I was always trying to compete with them. I always wanted to prove that I'm strong, smart, and capable of doing what they are doing. I was sensitive. I used to get so angry when I see injustice in the world. Injustice like violence against women, gender inequality, poverty, war, and much more. I saw things that I never understood why it's happening. I always had questions, but no answers. I grew up teaching myself how to be independent and strong, from inside and outside. Therefore, I have joined Taekwondo when I was so young and decided to stand up for myself. Every time I went out to play with boys in the streets, they used to throw rocks at me and chase me until I leave the area and never come back. Of course, I'm a troublemaker, right? I always come back. And I knew that I'll face more and more troubles. I was really good in Taekwondo. I started competing at the age of 14 years old and got my black belt, 3 Dan, and won 20 gold medals, 3 of them international. I found my passion and my best stress release sport ever. And I loved it because I can beat up anyone, at least in a competition, not in the streets. I'm kidding. I remember my last competition. It was in 2002. My knee got twisted during the fight, but I was so stubborn to continue that I won my last fight with a gold medal. I was taken to the hospital afterwards, and the doctors told me that they had to do a surgery because all my ligaments are torn and the ACL is completely torn apart. I didn't have a choice. I did the surgery a week later. Then I went into rehabilitation for about 6 months. Imagine being so energetic and hyper, to just sit in bed and do nothing. All you do is just think about life. Nobody even wants to get you a cup of water because they are sick of you just sitting there and giving them orders. The doctors were even worse and negative. They told me it's the end of my training career. They advised me to stop doing what I'm doing and do something else. I thought of what I could do when I grew up, but I couldn't imagine myself doing anything else but martial arts. The wonderful part of being who I am is I never believed in what people say. I follow my heart. If my heart tells me you can do this, then I believe in it more than science and medicine. Do you all have a heart here? Raise your hand if you have a heart. Oh, some people, they don't have hearts, okay? Maybe from your space or something. Put your hand on your heart. Did it ever stop beating? Did it ever fail you or quit on you? Did you wake up one day and ask yourself, where did my heart run away? Or did your heart ever tell you, hey you, are you talking to me? Yeah, I'm talking to you. I'm sick of you. All you do is just work and eat falafel all day. Why don't you get a life? I'm out of here. Did your heart ever get bored from doing just one job and one job only? Beating for you since the day you were born, making sure you're alive? I guess not. Your heart never failed you. So have faith in your heart. In 2004, I was attending a lecture at the university when my friend, Sarah, walks in with bruises on her face. I could see sadness and tears in her eyes, but she was acting strong. I talked to her after the lecture, and she told me that her brother and father beat her up every single day. I told her we have to do something about it. She said, no, and walked away. I got so upset. I understand that Sarah at that moment felt weak and powerless. Of course, she was being hurt. But I never believed that women should be hurt in any way. I never believed that women are weak. In fact, I always believe that women are so strong and can change the world to a better place. They just don't know it yet. Since I have a background in martial arts, I decided to stand up for women. I decided to start training women how to defend themselves from different types of violence, to empower them to have a voice, to become leaders, change makers, and influencers. After Sarah's incident, I started training women self-defense at the basement of my house. With time, I got so many girls interested in the training that I had to start my own self-defense studio. In 2012, I took the risk and started Chi Fighter, the first and only self-defense studio in the Middle East. At that time, everybody was against me. They said, women will never defend themselves, and this idea will fail. I proved them wrong. Since the opening, we have trained and empowered more than 12,000 women all over Jordan and the Middle East. We have trained at schools, universities, and cooperated a lot with different NGOs. We have trained Syrian refugees, women with disabilities, and orphans. We have trained about 2,000 Syrian refugees, and we empower them mentally through different workshops and seminars in sexual assault, harassment, and domestic violence. We have expanded our studio from a small size to triple the size of the first one in only 2 years to get more girls interested in the training. The thing is, when training a woman, she will not only become physically strong, but she will also build confidence in herself that will help her get out of any traumatic situations that she had faced or might encounter in the future. Violence against women is a major issue in our societies. We don't want just to talk about it. We need to take action to end it. Chi Fighter is one of the best tools we can use to put an end to violence against women and empower women. But we need to work together, men and women, side by side, to help end this issue. Let me tell you a story. That's actually some pictures of the Syrian refugees trainings. That's also some pictures of women with disabilities. And these women, they get harassed by people taking care of them. And they don't know that they have so much power with the upper body. So we gave them an intensive self-defense training. Let me tell you a story about the importance of self-defense in a woman's life. A woman named Lubna. She got a training at Chi Fighter for 3 months. She got attacked in the elevator in her own building by a stranger. She said she was walking toward the elevator. Suddenly, she felt somebody pushed her inside the elevator. A big guy was trying to choke her, then he tried to rape her. She said, I couldn't breathe. I started sweating and said, that's it, I'm gonna die. Then suddenly, she started reacting. She pushed him away from her many, many times until there were so many noises that he escaped from the elevator. She got so angry and chased him to the streets. She's a troublemaker. She asked some men for help, and they managed to catch him. Then she started punching and hitting him again and again and again on the face until he was crying, begging her to stop. Then the police came. Of course, it took them a while. Probably they were also eating falafel, not just me. So she put charges against him in court, and he put charges against her in court for beating him up in the streets. And she won the case, and now he's in jail for 3 years for sexual assault. When Lubna was talking to me on the phone that day, telling me how excited she was because she managed to defend herself and send that criminal to jail, I felt proud. I felt motivated, and I felt that I need to train more and more women. So we started training trainers in order to expand Chi Fighter in different locations and countries. We have trained about 100 trainers, and we are still expanding with numbers. The thing is, when I deliver a workshop, especially to Middle Eastern men, they always ask me that question after the workshop. So are you going to teach our wives how to beat us up? They're always afraid of their wives. I always answer them in that way. I'm not going to teach your wife how to beat you up. I'm going to teach her how to defend herself from different types of violence. So if you are causing violence, then you know the answer. You know something? I always say that. Attackers are cowards. A woman also who was training at Chi Fighter, she was heading home at night, walking in the streets. She felt somebody was chasing her. He got closer and closer and closer, and he put his hand on her shoulder. She suddenly turned and put on a fighting stance, so he escaped. That's all she had to do, put on a fighting stance. That's why I emphasize that attackers are cowards. We have faced so many challenges that I started believing that challenges is the best thing that ever happened to us, and still happening because we are growing and succeeding above all norms. I got sued once by a lawyer whose wife was training at Chi Fighter. Apparently, they had a bad argument, and she has to use self-defense against him. Again, I swear I don't teach wives how to beat up their husbands, but probably she was forced to use self-defense. So he blamed us for teaching his wife self-defense. I thought it's a joke at the beginning. Then I took it seriously and hired a lawyer and had to deal with it legally. Sometimes you have to go through a headache. Another challenge is changing the mindset of women in society, convincing them that being beaten up is not okay. that they need to stand up for themselves, their daughters and sisters in society. That staying quiet on violence is a crime by itself. They need to start speaking up. Men are also afraid of women empowerment because women will fight for their freedom. Besides challenges, we have many great achievements. One of them is we won the first place at the Women in Business Global Award that was held at the United Nations in Geneva. It gives us a push to keep doing what we are doing. Another award and motivation, we were mentioned by President Barack Obama during his speech at the White House in 2015. It also gives us a push and motivation to keep doing what we are doing. Sometimes I sit and think and ask myself, why me? Why did God choose me? Why do I have to go through all of this? Why do I have to be different? I always have one answer to all of this, because I'm a fighter. If I didn't do this now, who will? If Sarah learned some self-defense techniques like Lubna, she could have done something about all the bruises on her face and managed to defend herself. But we all know that you can't change the past. You can only start now and create a better future. You can start now and change people's lives. Throughout the years, I learned that you don't have to compete with boys or anyone to prove yourself to the world. You just have to compete with yourself to be the best you can be in this life as a human, not as a boy or a girl, as a human. Then you will find peace and you will shine above all obstacles. My name is Lina Khalife, and when life punches you in the face and throw you on the ground, you stand up and say, "You punch like a baby." Thank you.